As the violence escalates and the threat of instability rises, America has expressed its condemnation of the attacks on Israel. It's made it clear that it's standing by its long-term ally, but there's a feeling here in Washington amongst the Jewish community that now is the moment for President Obama to stand hand in hand with Israel, as many here are worried and concerned about friends and relations affected by the attacks. As the rockets continue to rain down on Israel, Jews in Washington are united in their shared anxiety for the events thousands of miles away. Many here at the DC Jewish Community Center are worried about friends potentially in danger from the escalating violence. And there's a feeling this is the time for President Obama to stand by Israel.
The concern is tempered by the strength of the IDF and the commitment of the Prime Minister Netanyahu to protect the citizens of Israel.
I mean, I am concerned, but I think, the situation has been tense for many years, so God willing, things will simmer down and everything will be okay soon, but it's a very sticky situation. Being that
Israel is an ally of the U.S. and President Obama has shown that and has said many times during his campaign that they're going to stand side by side with Israel. I hope that he acts on it, and I hope that he means it when push comes to shove and Israel does have to defend itself.
President Obama has spoken with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and reiterated America's support for Israel's right to defend itself. But he's been unable to call on America's old ally, Egypt. President Mohammed Morsi is a member of the Muslim Brotherhood, taking a rather different position to former President Hosni Mubarak. At the State Department, there was a call for a de-escalation of the violence, but an echoing of support for Israel.
This is violence instigated by Hamas. We have, as we've said very clearly in our statement yesterday, that we extend our sympathies to the victims, innocent Israeli and Palestinian civilians that have been affected by this violence. But let's be very clear where the onus lies.
But some analysts in Washington feel Israel's response has become about political gain rather than taking into consideration its citizens.
I don't think the Israelis want to have to be living under a situation where they feel at risk by rocket attack. I don't think it's in their interest. I think Netanyahu is probably playing a political game to a large degree as he approaches the elections that are upcoming. And while his re-election is not highly questioned, it certainly helps him to be able to show that he's flexing his muscles.
There's also been praise for the Iron Dome shield, the missile defense system part funded by the US to defend the Jewish state. Iron Dome's missiles are said to have intercepted more than a third of the militant rockets, focusing primarily on those headed for populated areas. Annually, Washington provides Israel with around $2 billion in aid, the majority of which goes to the military and the ongoing funding of the Iron Dome project. But concern here for whether the president has backed himself into a corner and with the violence increasing may regret his full-throated support.
Now we have a situation where there is some serious retaliation coming from the Gaza Strip that is at unprecedented levels. And I think that means now that the U.S. administration is going to have, given its record, given historical record of the U.S. presidency, will have no other position to take than one of complete support.
Now all eyes in America are focused on exactly how the Obama administration continues to show its support. The US, like Prime Minister Netanyahu, wants Israel to do all it can to avoid civilian casualties. But America is standing by its ally. Here in Washington, though, there's a feeling that this is an important opportunity for the newly re-elected President Obama to reassert his shoulder-to-shoulder position with Israel. This is Nick Harper for JM1 in Washington, D.C.